Hello and welcome to episode 94 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine evening, on the eve of the 4th of July, one Mr. Perry Burkham.
I'm an American. It's a very humid day. And I think we should celebrate Pendants on Talk Nintendo.
Ooh,
huh?
I like that. Yeah, you were saving that one all week, weren't you?
I just thought of it before, and then I forgot to tell you, and now I decided to do it in the intro.
You thought about that last 4th of July, and you're like, dang it, I missed my opportunity. I'll have to save it.
Independence Day. You know what we should do? We should give out independence.
Oh my goodness. And that's it for episode 94 of the Talk Nintendo.
That's such a good idea. I can't believe no one's ever thought of that. I looked that up. I bet there's independence.
You gotta make it happen.
Independent.
The Independence Award.
It's perfect. I need to talk to or Nindy. I need to talk to Justin. Nindependence.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be Well, we're thinking about this too late now because
you can have that idea.
2019 is gonna be popping off with Nindependence.
Yes, it's too good, right? I'm sorry.
I love it.
I'm sorry, but I love puns, and I don't care. I'm not disgusted by them. But how's it going, Casey?
It's going well. You know, been playing some games.
What are you sipping on tonight?
What's up?
What are you sipping on tonight?
I got some water. I've got 2 things of water, and then I've got a little coffee brewing as we speak.
Oh.
How about yourself?
I love the sound of, like the
like the occasional little pop almost, like
yeah, like at the end of the coffee, and it's just like, I don't know, it just makes me like.
I tell you what, I'm so happy that for some reason, with just about everything in my life, I would prefer to get it out. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want a cheeseburger? Like, it's gonna taste so much better if you go to a restaurant or something than if I made it at home, you know? Or like, just everything. It just seems like it's better when you go buy it out.
It
right?
is. If you don't make it, yes.
Except for coffee, man. You're gonna probably be like, "Blah." Good old Folgers, man.
No,
classic Folgers.
Dude,
in your cup.
Nothing. I mean, I've had Folgers. Folgers is fine.
I'm talking. You get like this big old jug. I don't know exactly how many ounces, but it's big. $10. Oh man, perfect.
Yeah, it's delicious. And I mean, anything home brewed is so much better. You know, like
it's like
than a big
to me.
Dunkin'
Donuts
industrial
coffee sucks. You know.
I wouldn't say it sucks. But I mean, like, I would vastly prefer.
I would in my pecking order of coffees would be number 1, definitely at home. Number 2, probably going McDonald's.
Yes.
Then both on
you are
iced,
correct, sir.
Both on iced and hot coffee. Then I'm going
you
7-Eleven has good hot
7-Eleven's
coffee.
Good. Yes.
And then it's like I've never gotten coffee from BK or anything, so I can't speak upon that. But then it'd be Dunkin' Donuts. Like I'll get it from there, but like I'm really not excited about it. And then Starbucks. No, thank you.
Ooh, I like Starbucks. I just never get it because it's 4 times expensive.
Oh, it's so for 1 cup of coffee at a Starbucks, it's like you're halfway home to a 18-ton jug of Folgers.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, but yeah, I'm drinking a grapefruit LaCroix. You ever drink LaCroix?
No, I've heard some fuss about LaCroix. But yeah, no,
yeah, I don't know what the fuss is.
Well, it's okay. So like, kind of funny. Do you know about them at all? Essentially,
I know of them.
Yeah. So like, the one guy is a big LaCroix fan. So much that LaCroix was having be #1 fan competition or something, and they won 3rd. Because like obviously they have like a nice studio and just made like a crazy LaCroix little picture kind of thing. But they get like they got a bajillion cases. So like on the Reddit, people talking about LaCroix, and like someone was like, I don't get the fuss, you know, and someone's like, well, it's sort of like. I forgot exactly how they worded it, but it was like, yeah, it's like this, but like worse, you know? Or it's like that, but it's a little bit better, you know? But like the thing they were comparing it to sucked, you know? But they're like, but it's a little better, you know? So it's like, it sounds like this is not a good product, you know?
Well, the thing is like, it's like growing up, I thought it was absolutely like disgusting. I just thought that
It's supposed to be like a healthier alternative, right?
Water. Yeah.
To like a soda or something.
It's just flavored carbonated water. It's not sweetened or anything. It just has a little flavor. And it's just like when I grew up, it like over the past like 5-6 years, I finally was like, oh, this is delicious. And like you kind of crave it, and
and
I don't know.
And next thing you know,
I think it's delicious.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess. I
mean, I totally get how people don't, because I thought it was disgusting. Because I think carbonated water. I always thought that was gross.
Yeah.
Unless it was.
Like I said, I don't think I'm against it. Like I would try one, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go buy one. I'd really have to be given one.
Yeah, I mean, like at PAX, I got the. They had some sort of like raspberry. Oh, the Schweppes.
Yeah, I tried to black that out of my mind. When you got,
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. Your carbonated water.
Anyway, we've been going on this funny intro for too long.
What do you mean? This is the Talk Coffee podcast.
Yeah, Le Coffee.
Le Coffee.
But I know that we've been up to a lot of stuff. I mean, we've just been, like on Saturday we recorded.
We were churning
6 challenges, which I think the most we've ever recorded is 3.
Yeah, I think it, and that was like the first time we did it when we're like, let's sit down and bang a couple out. Yeah, I mean, this last month for me, I know has been crazy with things going on with the weekends, and then it was. Yep. I know you've been busy with work, so it's been tough to shack up, but we finally got it in. Like you said, we got 6 done, so...
boy, howdy.
Yep, we're going to have, I believe, the return of the YouTube Saloon by popular demand. At least from one man championing the return. But we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, it was a good weekend, and then, we've gotten to play a little bit more Mario Tennis Aces, and I believe that's going to be our little quick bite here. Quick bite. Yeah, we've been playing.
I was gonna say, if you want to be an amazingly crazy person, you could click the link to NWR TV, and you could watch us play while you're listening to this, because we put up a video of us playing. It was fun.
Well, I don't know why they'd want to listen to this and that at the same exact time. You should pause.
They'd be a crazy person. Did you hear what I said?
Touche. I wasn't listening to you that first part.
You don't ever listen to me, Gibson.
But we did a fun little doubles video where Perry and I took on some computers, which you might think would be a little lame, but they're actually pretty good. So
they're doing their zone shots.
No, they know. It was pretty tight battle. Like I said, it's weird. We wanted to do 2v2 versus some random people online, but it doesn't seem like that's an option yet. I don't know. Which is stupid, but hopefully, maybe it seems like with a lot of these online games now, with Nintendo at least, it's sort of like, let's get the base game out there with some stuff and sort of continue to do free updates to sort of keep it in the conversation, Obviously, Splatoon and ARMS, saw tons of free update content updates. So and we already know, which we're going to cover in the news too, is more characters are coming to Aces. So I wonder if that's going to be sort of continuously updating.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
some modes and
they've done
features.
Stuff like that, in other games. Like I just, for some reason, I feel like that they have done kind of cool updates that I could see them coming out with new ideas. So I don't know. It could happen.
Yeah.
It might still be possible. It's kind of a weird thing, the way it's set up with the 2 different rooms. I mean, maybe it's possible. Maybe the only way to do that is locally, to go online.
Yeah, that's still annoying, though.
Oh, it's really annoying, yeah. No, it is.
They really should have an option. I think ARMS does it awesome. How it's like, there's a room that 8 people can fill up into, in and out, whenever they want.
Yeah,
and then
the party
you just
room.
Here's a couple single matches, here's a couple doubles matches. Oh hey,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, here's the kooky, on like one of the fun. Oh, there are piranha plants in the middle of the stage. Do
the
level.
Boss fights.
Yeah, it's like
do co-op boss fights. Like a headlock type thing.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
That would be awesome. That would be so cool. And then you can have a point system, and then you could unlock like different stuff for your characters. Oh man.
Yeah, it's like it just like I don't know why that isn't sort of like the go-to for all of them, you know? Like it seems like it works so well that you'd think they'd try and implement something similar, you know, but
yeah. I know, it's like with these Mario games, I wish that you could just like the perfect game for having like that universal Nintendo code, like having amiibo support where you unlock a Splatoon hat when you scan in your Squid amiibo. You know? I mean, or a sticker. Even if it's just a sticker or something, or you have, you know, I wish they would do stuff like that. I think it would be great. I think that, you know, and I feel like that's not a hard thing to do. I don't know. Like, I don't see how that could possibly be hard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You'd like to think... I don't know.
Anyway.
Come on, Nintendo.
But, yes. It's... Well, but on the plus side, though...
Oh, we've been having a blast.
Is so much fun. And it's really is... I said this on the... If you watch the video, it's one of my favorite... it's probably my favorite tennis game. Like, just, like, in general mechanics. So it's really good. Like the gameplay is a lot of fun. Has that fighting kind of, people have been throwing around that term mechanic, you know, where there's a lot of strategy. Like there's actual strategy in building up your zone shots and stuff. I just love it. So yeah, I'm really glad I picked it up.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. Obviously, I wasn't too high on it from a single player aspect. And like I had played online, and like I said, it's fun to play other people. But again, just another classic case of playing with people you know, or friends, family, you know, is just so much more fun. And you know, being able to jump on Skype and beat Perry down in a couple matches before he begged to be on my team. But you know,
please, at least for the YouTube video.
Yeah, don't embarrass me.
I embarrassed myself.
Speaking of which, there will be a Mario Aces challenge. I don't want to tip my hand at who won, but one of us did. I'll leave it at that.
Yep. But let's get into what you've been playing, Case.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I recently picked up the brand new Switch third-party game from Bethesda, and that is Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus.
Isn't there a new game coming out? Wolfenstein, like, there's another one coming out, right?
I don't think so. I think
that isn't. Yes, there is.
It might be
it's
DLC.
Not confirmed. Is that what that is? Is that what the DLC is?
I don't know.
That's what I was wondering.
No, let's see.
It's
3 add-ons and 4. No, because the DLCs came out at least for the other systems. No, I don't think there is a Wolfenstein. I mean, was there?
I know there is.
I'm looking at Wolfenstein 3 is the final game in the rebooted series that takes place after Colossus. It's developed by Machine Games. Is it announced though?
It's called something like New Order.
Oh well, it doesn't have a name yet. No.
The New Order.
Well,
that's what it's called.
That's the first one.
Okay, that's the first one.
So I'm pretty sure it's Wolfenstein: The New Order. Then it's Wolfenstein 2. I don't think there is, because they said in the trilogy.
Well, I knew that there was a new thing that was coming out that they said that they just said they weren't planning on bringing it to Switch. So anyway, didn't mean to hijack that. Anyway, you've been playing Wolfenstein 2.
Yes, sir.
For the Switch.
Yep.
Which is a crazy game that we actually played together at PAX. Well, not together, but in the same room.
Side by side.
I remember I was playing at the same time as you on the other TV waiting for the guy to come.
Yeah, it was one of those, obviously I was interested in it because, you know, I like Bethesda shooters, you know, I like Doom, and, you know, I've never played a Wolfenstein game, but I heard that the New Order was really good, and that the new Colossus was also really good, so it was like, okay, I am definitely interested in checking this out. And then when we played it at PAX, that was sort of like the, okay, hook, line, and sinker, I'm in, because it was so much fun. Now, what's cool about Wolfenstein is I feel like it's, you know, Doom is very run and gun. Like, literally, you know, I'm grabbing these guns, just blasting through people. And Wolfenstein what I like about Wolfenstein 2 is you can sort of play like that if you want to, and it doesn't always work out. Like I've done it where I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and run and gun my way to this area, and it just is too much sometimes. But it's fun because you have that option to sort of go at it guns blazing, but you can also be more stealthy and secretive because how it sort of works is you're going through the game and like you get into areas and you sort of get objectives to do, and as you're going through these areas, all of a sudden like on the top of your screen, part of the HUD, you'll see like a circle with a number inside of it, and that's sort of an indication of like, hey, there's a general or whatever somewhere, or lieutenant somewhere nearby, and it'll be like, and the number sort of shows you how close and how far you are, and it gives you an idea, obviously, if it starts growing, you're going the wrong way. And your goal is you need to kill them, because otherwise just tons of more enemies are going to continue to sort of flow out at you. So it's like, your goal is like, and often, at least to the point I'm in the game, where it's like, more often than not, you get 2 at a time. So it's sort of like, hey, there's one over here, and then there's one sort of on the other side. So it's like you got to work your way and sort of kill all the fodder. And they're not exactly fodder, because they will kill you. They do damage, and they're...
Yeah, I remember that. There's like that huge guy that like, and where you get like
with the big laser gun.
Laser gun,
where it like takes a second to charge up, and it's just like a big red beam that incinerates people, which is super fun. But yeah, so it's like you're working your way through there, and the objectives are sort of like not necessarily always just get to this area, but that seems to be more like it's like you're running through here, and then you'll get story bits in between. And there is quite a bit of story in this game. It is in like the alternate universe where the Nazi party won and took over America. So we're sort of like, we're like the rebellion, So it's sort of like, all right, we need to work our way. And I guess what happened in the first game, they give you sort of like a nice, I don't know how long exactly it was, but a couple minutes pretty much sums up the entirety of the first game. And like sort of like what happened, like the broad strokes, So you get to the point where it's like, I guess the rebellion's in rough shape, and you're sort of like the last hope. Like we need to really, like we need to spark this, and get the revolution going again, because obviously we don't want to be living under Nazi control.
Right.
Now, it happens early in the game, so I don't think this is a spoiler at all. In fact, she was already part of our team during the demo in which we played. But like it's funny because the presumed end enemy is like she's a German, like she's not super old, but an older German woman who's, I guess, like ruthless. And like one of the cutscenes, you're like, oh my goodness, like this woman is mean as the day is long.
She's a Nazi.
Yeah, really, she is truly.
It's almost like she's a Nazi.
And she was being really mean to her daughter, and her daughter's like, she's husky girl, and she's like, what are you eating, more sweets? And like really like giving her the business. You're like, oh my goodness. And then she ends up, I wonder, maybe I shouldn't. I feel like it's not like a huge spoiler, but maybe I should I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it
so
at that.
So anyway, a funny interaction with characters going on there, and pretty much this whole game is just crazy. I mean, there are parts where like you're just like, did that really happen? And it's just sort of like a subtle detail within the story, like it's not like a major overarching part of the plot, but you're just like, that's so strange that like they just threw like that little bit in there, you know what I mean? Right. And like I said, I don't want to go too into spoilery stuff, so I think those surprises are a little better left to sort of see as you go. But the gameplay itself, really fun. I love the guns are cool. They're different. They're varied. You sort of got a handgun, an assault rifle, machine gun, shotgun. You get a couple of those bigger guns, like you said, with the lasers. And as you're going around, you find upgrade things, kits, so you can upgrade your weapons too with different abilities. Like my one gun was the machine gun. I changed it so it shoots slower, and like the bullets actually travel slower, like you could noticeably tell. But they're it's like a a rail gun or a nail gun, so it heats them up so it penetrates armor better. So against those guys that have armor, all of a sudden, generally you're thinking a submachine gun is probably not the best gun to take on someone with that kind of, protection. But now it's like they go down pretty quick with that gun. So it's fun to mix and match that. And
that's cool.
As far as the game running, to me, it runs really well. I know there's videos online and people who have done all like the looking at the frames, and I guess it almost consistently runs in 30 FPS. And I know that people have complained about, I guess, like the blurring a little bit, like when turning to sort of keep it that 30 frames. It hasn't bothered me. I think it, looks great. I've played almost entirely in docked mode, so I can't speak. Maybe where the issues people are sort of running into might be undocked, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
But as far as docked goes, it hasn't been any problem for me.
Okay.
Now,
well, that's good to hear.
And just to double back on the story about how outrageous it is, it's just like, so you were on this U-boat that you guys hijacked. That's where the game sort of begins. Right. And it's so funny, like you do a mission, then one of the missions is like, hey, like I think you might want to go check this part of the boat out because it seems like there might be something over there, and you go over there and like you move like one little like bookshelf, or not a shelf, I should say like a locker, and all of a sudden like you find like a path to this new area and it's just filled with Nazis. And then I'm like, and
to the brim.
And this is when they're like sardines. But Sandy was over when we were playing. And like she's like, so there was just like a bunch of Nazis on this boat you've been on. And I'm like, oh well, maybe you just stole it like a day ago and you didn't get like a full search, And they're like, then all of a sudden you hear like in your radio call, it's like, they've been locked up in that place for 5 months with barely any food. They're gonna be rowdy. And I'm like, you guys had this boat for 5 months. And you failed to check this entirely huge portion of the boat for anyone else,
Or they were just starving them.
But yeah.
Maybe they just give them a taste of their own
And I find
medicine.
it funny that like these Nazis were like, all right, there's only like 1 million of us, but we better not go mess with the like 10 people that took over the boat.
Yeah.
But I guess that also doubles back to the fact that your main character, who's BJ Blazkowicz, which is just a great name. It's just funny because like there's so many missions where it's like we need to go do this, and you're like, oh my god, we need to do this like ridiculous task that like there's no way you'd be able to do with like an army of 1,000 men, And then they're just like, Blazkowicz, we're gonna leave this one up to you, bro. And he's like, all right. And he just goes on and, he takes on a bajillion Nazis. And, like, it's just, it's so over the top. But like, in such a charming and awesome way, I'm really enjoying it.
Good. How long is that game supposed to be?
To be honest with you, I'm not really sure. And it's funny because I actually wanted to check that the other day. Let's see. Wolfenstein II, the new Colossus, is about 10 hours. A 10-hour campaign. Okay. So, and this game is purely single player. We should note that. This is a 100% single player experience. So, it's not any tacked on multiplayer. But it works for me because, like I said, so far I'm really enjoying it. And I can't wait to beat it and send it off to you so to hear what your opinions on this bad boy are.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah.
Heck yeah.
Good old Wolfenstein II. The new Colossus. I had to move my water bottle again. I was like, wait, let me just double check the new, yep.
The new order.
Yeah, dang it. And I should say, you were talking about another game in the Wolfenstein thing.
Yes.
I think it's The Old Blood.
That's what it is.
But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that was not made by Machine Gun Games. And I'm pretty sure they just pretend... Or maybe... Okay, no, it was made by Machine Games. I guess it's just...
I don't think the New Order was what I was thinking of. Or the Old Blood.
Because the Old Blood was made in 2015. Actually developed by Machine Games, published by Bethesda. Game is a standalone title in the Wolfenstein series and a prequel to 2014's Wolfenstein: The New Order. set in an alternative. So yeah, so I guess maybe it's the Old Blood, the New Order, the New Colossus, but the Old Blood actually came out after the New Order. Seems to be. This is confusing. Doesn't matter. You can only play.
And then what makes it more confusing is the Wolfenstein Young Blood, a standalone sequel similar in vein to the Old Blood. So that's what.
Okay, that's what you were thinking.
Wolfenstein Young Blood is going to be released in 2019.
Okay, all right. And that one is not confirmed for Switch.
Yeah,
yet.
Not at this time.
But oh yeah, okay, that's the one. Let's see it.
You can see why it's a little confusing.
Yeah. Okay, the Wolfenstein game. Yeah, it's a co-op title starring BJ's twin daughters. Should be interesting.
Cool.
I wonder if it. Well, I mean, if it doesn't come to Switch or whatever. But imagine it had online co-op. Ooh, I'd play that with you.
Yep. Speaking of online co-op,
this game doesn't have
let's talk about our next game. Yeah, this game doesn't have it, and that is Miles and Kilo.
Yes, sirree.
Yeah, so we actually had an interview with one of the developer. Well, it's interesting. Not the creator, but the man that developed it for the Switch and the 3DS, Kid Trip, and then the sequel is Miles and Kilo. A man by the name of Mick Waites, and that is going to be tagged onto this episode. I don't know really where.
Probably right on at the end, I'd imagine.
Right on at the end, yeah. So check that out. Alex Kulafi joined me, and we talked, and it was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot, and it was cool. But we can talk more in depth about the game here with Casey, and I can really just spout out my love for this game and not gush to the guy that.
Yeah, you big home. Yeah, you're a suck up.
Yeah, I know. No, oh my goodness, I absolutely love this game. It completely took me by surprise. It didn't take me by surprise because it looked freaking sweet when I saw it. But I fell in love with it. Just kind of almost right when I started it because of how tight the gameplay is. So, real quick, what it is it's a sequel. Miles and Kilo is a sequel to Kid Trip. Kid Trip is an auto runner. Level-based auto runner, kind of like Super Mario Run, but retro vibe, much quicker. You die a lot more. If you die, you go back to the beginning of the level. It's kind of like if you took a Bit Trip or Runner, like the Runner franchise and the Mario franchise, and put them together, kind of. But Miles and Kilo is a sequel, and it's very similar to Adventure Island, that series, where it plays a lot like an auto runner, and there's actually a setting that I wish I would have known from the very beginning, because you can set it to an auto runner in the options, or maybe he might have said that you unlock it after you beat it.
Oh yeah, because I pretty much played it with my finger on that right direction the entire time.
Yep, and so that's kind of cool for people who don't like. I mean, if you want to take your time, you can have full movement over your character. But it plays a lot like if people know Adventure Island, it's the same thing. So it plays very similar to that. Even like the same fruits and like going for the same look and the same sprite style and stuff. But you play as Miles and Kilo. Miles is this little boy guy.
Little boy guy.
He's a young man, and
you're nothing but little boy guy.
Yep, just like you, Casey. And he has his dog Kilo, and those are the two characters you play as, and they play differently. Why don't you go ahead and tell them about how they play, Case?
Yes. So when you're playing as Miles, as Perry said, you sort of have that free range to be able to stop and sort of take your time and sort of approach certain obstacles and with some thought to it. And he has a few abilities. you have 5 pieces of fruit as your stock, which you can use to take out enemies. But obviously, when you throw one, you lose one. And there are fruit scattered around each level. But we'll tell you why it's important to sort of conserve those fruit in a minute. But he also has the ability to slide underneath tight areas. So, sort of like Mario, where it's like, oh, only a little Mario could fit through that. Miles, you could sort of hit I believe it's the Y button, and you do like a little slide underneath it. He also has the ability to sort of ram through breakable walls, it's sort of similar to the slide. It's sort of like you hit that button when you run into certain obstacles. You could jump, and by holding down a little bit more, or versus tapping it, you get a little different result from that jump. And like Mario, you can sort of jump off enemies' heads or bounce off enemies' heads when you hold down the jump button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Kilo is actually an auto runner. So when you get to Kilo, you grab his leash, and then he books it. And it drags Miles behind. So you're like, okay, I'm going by the coattails here, And as I said, he's an instant runner. Now, unlike the fruit, he has the ability to just leap at enemies. So when you're in the air, like a little target will go...
Like Ninja Striker.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it'll go over the enemy.
He seeks.
And you hit that button, and then all of a sudden he leaps towards it. So, this is actually a way to make up ground or time when you're, because if you're moving at the same pace, you're not going to make up time, But when you jump through the air and attack an enemy, you could leap across the screen. So this actually works well because, like I said, it picks up some time. But it's also super fun and satisfying. Like, it is, because generally speaking, it'll be like, oh, there'll be a couple enemies chained in a row, and there'll be a gap, So you'll be like, oh, I'm flying over this gap, attacking enemies, and it's super fun and satisfying. And again, I guess he also has the ability to sort of roll. He does like a continuous roll, which is sort of funny, to get underneath low profile areas. And then I think he also has the ability to run through walls similar to Miles, but I don't remember if that actually runs into any situation where you got to break walls with Kilo. But it's fun because generally...
He just rolls under him, yeah.
Like, there are some levels where you get Kilo right off the bat, but like some of them you'll do a portion as Miles, and then all of a sudden you'll pick up Kilo halfway through the level. And it should be noted, these levels aren't long. It shouldn't take you more than 20 to 30 seconds to beat any given level if you do a perfect run. Now, of course, you're going to die a bunch of times, and as Perry said, you get right back into the action, which to me is so important in a game like this because I don't want downtime. The level's quick, the action's quick. I don't want to be like getting into a level, do 10 seconds and I die, and then all of a sudden I got to wait, even if it's 3-4 seconds. When I've only played 10 seconds of the level, that's a bad ratio. So the instant respawn to me is just so critical in a game like this.
Yeah, and so the best part about each level is they're ranked, and I think they go A, B, C. There might be a C, but A, B, C, and then there's the S rank, which is if you get basically perfect. And so you're ranked at the end for how many fruit you have in your possession. You can have up to 5. You need to have 5 to get the S rank. Ranked on time, ranked on if you collected all the coins, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's time, coins, fruit.
Yes. And so if you get it all perfect, you'll get an S rank. And
the times are super tight. So pretty much if you want to get an S, you pretty much have to be playing it as an auto runner. Like you need to really, you can afford maybe a half a second pause, once throughout the level. But otherwise, the time restraints for an S are definitely...
and sometimes you can't. And it's like you mentioned before, when you're playing with Kilo, you have to do the really quick seeks in the air, jumping and striking in the air. Like I remember there's one level where I had to do that to get the S rank. Otherwise, even if I played it as an auto runner, I didn't, you have to be really quick with that. So, it's a tough game. It sure is tough, but it's completely...
It's fair
and obtainable. It's like, for me at least, I felt great playing the whole thing through. And I think my final playthrough was like 2 hours and 11 minutes or something like that. To play through it all. So I mean, it's like actually a pretty good sizable game. And that's like 100%ing it.
Did you get S's on every rank?
Yes. I had to.
Yep. Yeah. It's to me it was it has that Jules effect to me where I needed to get an S to move on. I did not. If I beat a level with an A, I would go back and get an S. And what's nice is once you sort of learn the level, you can sort of get through it pretty quick. It's not like random elements are sort of sprouting up and throwing wrenches at you, you know?
Exactly.
No, this game, like I said, has that for me, like when I play a game from Jules, it's like some reason I just need to collect everything in that level. And like, you know, when I play a game like Donkey Kong, I don't get that same feeling. And with this, it was like I need to get that S. And to me, like generally, by the time I beat a level, I sort of got the lay of the land where I got the S. Usually the first time I beat it, you know, because I'd sort of died a bunch of times to understand it. But it's nice where even if you get an A, you could sort of see where your mistake was and be like, all right, I just can't stop there. Or like, oh, that enemy I can't hit with a fruit. I need to dodge and then sort of wrap up the level there. So it has that like learned ability where you go back and you feel more confident in getting to the end of the level with a good rank. So
absolutely, yeah. And I just if you remember back in I think sometime in March or April, I pegged Owlboy as my first must play game of the year.
We getting a second?
And we're getting a second one.
Ooh.
And that's Miles and Kilo. I think everyone listening to this should get this game. It is awesome. And then the best part, it's just so cool, is when you buy this game, you'll get Kid Trip for free. Kid Trip is also so freaking sweet. They're both really cool, tight, really precision, nice sounding looking games. But yeah, I just had so much fun with this. It's like when I told you, Casey, like if I was gonna like review it, it could be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's funny because we recorded those challenges and Kid Trip might have been one of them. But then I was thinking like I was like, oh crap, I played Kid Trip on 3DS, and I was like, 3DS, oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know what? I know these games aren't expensive, so I was like, I guess I'll just go pick it up. And then, yeah, to my surprise, it was and I remember there being some sort of deal, so I was like, oh, I think it might be 50% off if you have Miles and Kilo. But, yeah, to my surprise, 100% free. So, for these, and like I said, I'm pretty sure Miles and Kilo is, do we know how much? I think it's only like $5.
I think it's $6.99 or $7.99, I think. I think it's $7.99.
Because, yeah, I mean, for that price, now you're getting 2 games, so definitely, yeah, it's not going to be a game that you play for a bajillion hours on end, but it is, like you said, it's a really good 2-hour playthrough.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I had so much fun with it. So yeah, yes, go check out the game.
Yes, sir.
But I think that's gonna do it for what we've been playing.
Yeah, you've been too busy to be playing all these games these days.
Well, I've just been playing some Mario and some Miles and Kilo.
I know. I'm just busting your cojones.
Oh my goodness. Please don't.
And on that note,
anyway, yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with the good old eShop Roundup.
Woo-wee. We are back, and it is that time once again, Perry, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. What time is it?
The
eShop Roundup. Yeehaw. And it's the eShop Roundup. And special little thing we're doing this week. If you are watching this, or if you're listening and you have the opportunity to look at a YouTube video, we're gonna upload this is the video version of the eShop Roundup to the NWR TV, so you can check out the screenshots for yourself and play along with us and help make fun of other games. Just kidding. That's not what we do here, right, Case?
Well, only if they deserve it.
Only if they got the Jimmy price right. But
yep.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with Photon Cube for $13.65, as you can see. Are you following?
Yep. Sorry, I couldn't find the cube. I was like, where is it? Where is it? I got the Photon. $13.65.
Yeah. Big time Jimmy price.
Oh man, starting us off right.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like a puzzle game with cubes. Kind of like. Oh, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Death Squared.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
3D prism action puzzle that light draws. All right, we got it.
Next up here, we have The Journey Down Chapter 2,
All
1999. Now, if you played Chapter 1 and you liked it, you might be interested in Chapter 2.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, right?
Yep, and I think that's all there is to say about it.
Oh, because the video's loading right now.
I'll
back out of it. Okay.
Your Switch ain't ready for the lightning round.
No, it ain't. All right. So next up we have Survive Mr. Cube, which...
a lot of cubes.
It looks like,
Minecraft a little bit?
Not Minecraft.
Well, the character a little bit.
What's the... Don't Starve. That's what the kind of concept reminds me of. Right?
Survive, yeah.
Yeah, looks cute. Use R to attack. All right.
All right.
$14.99. Sounds good.
Next up here we have Grave Danger for $19.99, and the little title here, Couch Co-op.
Yep.
And yeah, this looks like looking at it here.
So yeah,
looks like something.
Fun story. I know the guy that made this game.
All right. So tell me about it.
It's well, it's funny because when I got to know him, I told him this needs to come to Switch because it looks awesome. The co-op does. But it's all about using different characters and solving. It's a puzzle form basically, and you can all do different things. But yeah, isn't that cool?
The old puzzle form.
The guy lives in my town.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Who would Iowa, man? Who would have known it'd be like the capital of nerd?
Nebraska, but yeah.
Well, potato.
Yeah, yeah, potato tomato. Anyway, next up we have Dream Alone from Fat Dog Games for $9.99. Ooh, it's a dark and difficult 2D indie platformer.
Well, it's funny because you look at the art of the first picture there with the title, and that actually reminded me of Don't Starve, like that sort of look. But then when you sort of look at the gameplay screenshots, it's definitely not the same.
They're impaled.
Dark and difficult 2D indie platformer.
So it means dark in the sense of disturbing. Oh,
that or you just can't see anything.
Do you see the one with the skeleton chasing him?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yes.
Good. Man, it's cool looking. Oh, there's people hanging. I don't know. It's too scary for me, Case.
You are a big Jimmy.
I am. But next up, what do we got?
Next up here, it's funny. No Heroes Here. And this is $14.99. Rally your friends and hold your ground in this party multiplayer simulation game.
Oh, it's a party multiplayer simulation.
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm trying to look at it. I'm trying to think how it might work exactly. I don't know.
Yeah,
it looks like it could be interesting. Like, I don't know if it's sort of like a tower defense, like you're sort of defending your tower against the enemies attacking, or if you're supposed to be infiltrating them. But, well, it says hold your ground, so maybe it's sort of like a co-op tower defense thing?
Yeah.
Or base defense, or whatever you want to call it.
It's level based, so that's
interesting. Cool. Yeah, $14.99 if I didn't already say that.
Next up, we have Fossil Hunters from Smiling Buddha Games for $16.99, which is that's not a very common price.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not a complete Jimmy price.
No, it's not. You are an adventuring fossil hunter who has traveled to a remote, mysterious dig site to discover the most incredible fossils the world has ever seen. All right. I believe we have a review up on the site, and it wasn't very good.
Oh, no good, huh?
No, I heard. But anyway. Oh, what do we have next?
Next
I didn't
up...
realize this was out.
Yeah, it just came out, I believe, last week. And that's why we're talking about it here in the eShop Roundup. Is Figment for $19.99. Now, this is from the fine folks over at Bedtime Digital. I played and reviewed their first game, which is now, I'm of course eluding my name. Like I'm eluding the name.
Back to Bed.
That's it. Which was really interesting. Like the puzzles weren't too difficult, but the concept was cool, and I really liked the art style.
Oh my goodness,
and this
look at this
game. Yeah, this game takes that
gorgeous.
art style and ramps it up because it is absolutely beautiful. It's got a lot of that sort of, I don't know if this one was going to have as much. I forget what it's exactly called, the art style, but where it's like the stairs are going down, but then it's really connected to the top, like messing with perception and depth and stuff. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. This is
man, look at that.
Another puzzle game, but I think this one has some. I guess the other one had light platforming thing, but
yeah, this is open world though. Like
yeah, it looks wonderful. This looks like the game that came after Back to Bed. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
It looks like they took what they learned from the first one and sort of ramped everything up a little bit.
Perfect. Yeah, looks awesome. But we got an arcade archive. Those are so hard to say.
Oh, I know it's
arcade archive.
It's terrible.
Yep.
It's the double arc.
We have our hamster toss. One of them with Renegade. Save your friend Hiroshi. Your enemy, the mob. In this battle, your life is on the line. I bet if you're facing the mob.
Can I tell you something?
A mob of women.
This game's amazing.
Oh, have you played it?
I've played the crap out of this game.
Oh, really?
Because, so my roommate, my sophomore year of college, he had this on like an emulator, but it was the arcade Renegade, which this is an arcade archive, so I'm assuming because there's differences between the NES and the arcade one. Yeah, the arcade is definitely better, but it's super fun. You go through these levels, and it's just to beat 'em up, and you just got to beat up all these people. And yeah, it's so funny. You go into like the one area, and it's like all these mean girls, like with chains and like
maces.
Yeah, and it's like, and then there's the one big mean. We called her Big Mama, and oh my God, she was like after you beat all
she's
of
on there.
Yeah, after you beat all the other girls, you get up to her, and she'd come charging across the way and lay the hammer on you, man. She was brutal. And then you go to the next one where you see the guys in the suits. They got knives, so they hit you with that knife. You're dead, man. One shot. So it's like whenever you got to that stage, you were like, oh man, dude, so much fun. That game, I had a blast. I had a blast with that game.
Awesome.
Because it was one of those like we'd get to the end and we'd never be able to beat it. So it was like the race to see who would beat it.
Right.
He won. But I got it. I beat that game. Oh, so much fun.
Awesome. We should play it. Is
it
co-op?
No.
Okay.
No, we took turns.
All right, gotcha. Well, we have another MotoGP game for $39.99. That's MotoGP 18.
Ooh, got the Red Bull logo in there.
Yep. It's become the star of the 2018 MotoGP season.
I wish they'd show some dangle gameplay, because these shots look incredible, but you know that's probably not how they look during the game.
That's not how they look in the game, no.
But
yeah, all right.
Well, I was getting a little worried here for a moment.
I know.
But no need to fret. It's another week because we got Neo Geo Monkey Puzzle Exchanger, baby. $7.99. Yeah. This game looks... it looks awesome.
Did you say Monkey Puzzle Exchanger?
Oh, I did, yeah. It's Money Puzzle Exchanger. But Monkey sounds so much better.
Monkey Puzzle Exchanger sounds amazing.
I know how to read.
That's hilarious.
I got too excited about the Neo Geo game, I couldn't even read it right. Yeah, could you imagine there was just a monkey puzzler?
Yeah, like Bomb Monkey.
Yeah, monkeys. They're big. They're big.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that Kirby Star Stacker game. But, anywho, yes, good job. It's a week. Next up, we have Angels of Death from Active Gaming Media. The hit indie game with the anime version coming soon. Apparently. It's coming to
Interesting.
Switch. I don't know what that means. But,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe, because I'm looking at the screenshots, right? And it almost looks like, I don't want to say like RPG Maker, but like that kind of, like a nicer RPG Maker style. So maybe they have another version where it's like more of an anime art style opposed to what it is. But yeah, interesting.
I do like the Floor B6 Zack.
Yeah, Zack.
That's $14.99 again.
Yep.
All right.
Next up
here's
here,
a familiar looking game.
Yes, sir. Why don't you tell us what it is?
Limbo. From the creators.
Is that a
Inside.
party game?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not. This is.
Well, then I'm not interested.
Kind of the genre setting silhouette platformer puzzformer thing. Game.
Yeah, it definitely brought upon a new style of art, you know, like a new art style for games.
It is really cool looking through these screenshots, and I love the use of like 3-dimensional objects and stuff. Like,
yeah,
parallax is really cool. But yeah, Limbo, $9.99. I need to play through that game.
Yeah, I think I've played some Limbo, but I don't think I've ever beaten it. But this is what I hear. You'll probably want to play this next game if you're going to play either of them, and that is from the creators of Limbo, Inside, for $19.99. This was the follow-up, same sort of art style, but from what I gather is that it is just a much better game.
Wow.
Not to say the first one was bad, but from what I gather is that this one was better.
This looks awesome. Man, I need to get this game. This looks amazing.
Yeah, I think if you're going to get one of the two, I would recommend Inside. Or at least from what I hear. I guess I can't personally, but you know what I mean? That seems to be the consensus.
Yep, and it's $19.99. It's twice the amount.
Double the fun.
Yeah, we're going to move on to Anima, Gate of Memories, The Nameless... I can't even see what it... The Nameless Chronicles.
I tell you what, that name is dangerously close to Enema.
I know. That's why I was trying not to say Enema.
But now we said it twice.
It's
backfired, Perry.
Well, I don't care. It's a third-person action RPG, right?
Sure.
You like action RPGs?
I do.
Like
I do now. Yeah, but there ain't no time to play Enema. Anima, excuse me.
Well, if you do have time to play the Nameless Chronicles, you can play Gate of Memories, Anima Gate of Memories for $19.99. It looks like it's another one of these things.
But what happens if I was sick and tired of both of those?
Puppets.
I said, I don't want to play those two. I want to play a different Enema game. Well, then Arcane Edition might just be up your gate.
Yeah, what is this one?
I don't know.
Gate of Memories, Arcane
Edition. What's the price difference here? We got $10. It probably comes with the DLC, I bet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it's got to. There's Arcane, both Enema, Gate of Memories, and then okay. So this one,
anime or something.
Whatever. This one includes both those. So this one comes with both those games.
Gotcha.
So if you save $10 by buying the double pack, essentially.
There you go.
But not to be forgotten, in between all of this Anima talk, is Waking Violet for $6.99. And this right here, Perry, is a classic 2D top-down puzzler.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Yep, looks like you sort of have like your grids almost, you know, maybe move a box by a box. Yeah, it looks sort of cool.
That's cool. Yep. All right, next up we have Wolfenstein II: The New Colossus.
Ow!
Yep, and it's exactly what you were talking about before.
Oh, you see, there she is, General Engel.
Yep.
She's the mean one. She's no good.
Yep, and then it also shows the Joy-Cons being used as the motion control. Have you tried that yet?
Sure haven't.
Dude, do it.
Yeah, I forgot, and
What are
I
you
just
thinking?
because shut up. You shut your pie hole, your Jimmy hole.
Okay, well, next up we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy for $39.99.
Wait, the Crash is back.
I've heard some pretty crazy numbers about this game selling.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Don't you worry.
Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, the game is kind of weird looking.
Oh well, let me just say, I mean, I haven't played on Switch. I played on the PS4, and I'm pretty sure I've seen comparison videos where they look pretty similar, if not almost identical. It looks great. I really like that. Like, it has that nostalgic retro feel, but looks like it's a 2018 game. You know, it has that, like, it's smooth, it's polished, but keeps that feeling of nostalgia, which I like. And,
Right.
you know, again, I haven't played on the Switch, but having played some on the PS4, it's like, you know, it's still very much, it plays like Crash. You know, it is still that style of game. So if you didn't like it back then,
Sure.
you know, it's not like they changed much to it. But yeah, I mean, it's 3 full games for $40. So if you like Crash,
Sure, why
you're gonna
not?
get a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
All right, next up here we have Burn Star for $19.99. Hey Perry, burn
Yeah.
stuff, save the world.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I guess this is sort of like a puzzle strategy game. Is sort of what it looks like a Bomberman.
Yeah, it does. Kind of like that, and like a top-down Zelda, like Bomberman.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it'll have the same rule set as a Bomberman, but yeah, it looks
No.
like you sort of drop bombs to blow stuff
Well,
up,
if you
and
see that, there's different characters you can pick that have different things. Like one of them's
Oh, yeah.
Toxo, who can clone and teleport.
But I want the quick sprint.
I know you do, Jimbot.
You big
There's
Perry.
no Jimbot.
No Jimmy Two Shoes.
No. Alright, and here's... Next up, we have Spirit Sphere DX. Oh, baby. One part tennis, other part magical beatdown. Play solo or complete with friends. Yes, this is an amazing game that we will be talking about next week a lot. Good friends with the developers and the publisher, and yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. There's Jimmy throwing his axe.
Yep. Yeah, it's super fun. Like I said, we're going to be having Martino on the show next week, who is the developer. So it should be fun to talk to him. And yeah, like I said, talk a fun game. But moving along here, we've got a pair of games left here on the eShop Roundup. First one up, Pixel Junk Monsters 2 Deluxe Edition for $21.99. All right.
Now,
And
this game
this
looks so cool.
Yeah, this is a bundle because it's going to include Pixel Junk Monsters 2, but it's also going to include the Encore Pack and the Danganronpa Pack additionally. So if you were to buy those all separately, which I actually like that on the eShop Roundup, that it shows total if purchased individually. So you're going to save about $3 if you end up getting the bundle here. But yeah, I've never played this game, but I've heard a lot of good things about Pixel Junk.
Yeah, me too. I know it's made by the Star Fox guy, Dylan
Cuthbert.
Yes, that guy. So which is interesting. It's very cool looking. Kind of looks like, you know, reminds me of like Pikmin, kind of. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's got a nice art style to it.
But yeah, cool. It does look cool. All right, and last but not least, we have Runbo from Head Up Games for $14.99. Are you ready to Rumbo?
Head Up Games. Did they used to be? Oh, maybe they're just published because it was 13 AM, wasn't it? Who developed it?
Yeah, I think 13 AM and then Head Up is the publisher.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I clicked on Head Up and actually Slime Son is underneath that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 AM Games did that.
Again, I played a little bit of Rumbo multiplayer back in the day on the Wii U, but I never really got too into it.
Dude, this is when we can play it together, though.
That's true.
You need to
That's
remember
true.
that. It's something we could play together, and I love me a good old-fashioned platformer. And this game is a lot of fun. And honestly, though, and it's just honestly, I haven't been able to play with people that like are good at platformers. So
Yeah.
I've always been like just trouncing everyone that I play. But it is, yeah. But yeah, we should try this. We really should online sometime.
Yeah.
Runbow, and there's so many characters and stuff in it, and I think it's coming physically. I think it came to 3DS physically.
Yeah, and 3DS and Wii U.
Did it come to Wii U?
I'm pretty sure it came out.
I feel like that might have been canceled.
Or was that the one? Yeah, was that the one that was canceled? Because it definitely came out for Wii U. I know that. But yeah, physical out.
No, I know.
No. Look, you could buy the Wii U version from Walmart for $13.75.
Really?
Maybe it was the 3DS one that was canceled. The physical.
No, that one was released. Yeah.
Then I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, I do. I vaguely remember something being canceled, but I don't know.
All right. Well, we met the guy that made that game, or
yeah, at PAX.
He was at our panel.
Or worked on it. Yeah.
All right, and that'll do it for the eShop Roundup. Can you believe it? It's done.
Over. Yeah, and it wasn't even as long as normal.
No, it wasn't. So I can easily believe it, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I'll believe.
Well, that can only mean one thing if the eShop Roundup's done.
Dun, 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 dun.
News talk.
Just kidding. We're just kidding, Perry. It's not the news block yet.
It isn't?
No.
It isn't.
It's time to go down to the
YouTube Saloon. Oh, you faked us out, didn't you?
Yes, by popular demand, at least from one lone man on the Twitter, Grizzle Von Sizzle. I don't know. I don't know if he's alone in this crusade or if he's got a team and we just don't know about. But he's been waiting for the return of the YouTube Saloon.
I've been waiting for the return.
And we like to give the people what they want. So
that's right.
Without further ado, you might have already played the Jingle Jangle once. Let's give him another one. Well, let's give him one more.
Okay. The YouTube Saloon.
Yes, as we've alluded to earlier in this show, we did a whole bunch of recording of challenges over this past weekend, and we figured in honor of having the developer of Miles and Kilo on for this interview, which you're about to hear in probably about 15 or 20 minutes, that we were going to do a little race in Miles and Kilo as well. And it's fun. We what we did was a race of World 1, but we also factored in the scoring system involved too. So as we said before, how there's rankings. Each rank was worth a certain amount of points, and whoever finished first was worth a certain amount of points. So it plays nicely, and I think it's a really fun challenge. So again, the link is right in the description.
Yeah, it worked out really
to
well.
pop over there. So. Alrighty.
And also, we had, like previously mentioned, some doubles matches. Me and Casey played through on Mario Tennis Aces, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, yeah. So, our return of our mini play, which we haven't... essentially, is just a let's play of random games we do, and we haven't done one in a hot minute, so we got one of those over there. We figured if we're going to bring the YouTube Saloon back, we better bring it back big.
That's right. Yep. And we're now, it's at our new, the YouTube Saloon is now located at NWR Town.
Old TV Town. I like it.
Sure. Yeah, NWR Town. So, yeah, check it out. Like you said, it's in the link in the podcast, and just go to NWR on YouTube. So
easy peasy.
Where you can also find our eShop Roundup this week. I don't know if
we'll
keep doing it, but we'll see.
So many, yeah.
I know. But now, we go back to our regularly scheduled programming?
Yep, I think we're good. We're all clear for the jingle.
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
Alrighty, you alluded to it before. And we are here to talk about Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and how fast it is sold in the UK. It is the fastest selling Switch game released this year, and that includes Donkey Kong. What's up?
In the UK.
Yeah, in the UK. That includes Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Mario Tennis Aces, and Kirby Star Allies, I believe is the subtitle. Yes, it outsold all those. It doesn't really surprise me because I remember seeing the sales figures for the PS4 version in the UK, and I think Crash Bandicoot is just really, really, really popular in the UK.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I hear. So it does make sense, but that's good. You know, I would actually be curious to see the comparison. You know, we probably have to wait a little bit longer to see how it sold in comparison on PS4 versus the Switch. You know,
Yeah.
because it seems like a game that would do well on the Switch.
What's the developer that made it? Is that Insane? Is that what that is?
What's up?
What's the Insane? Is that the
developer?
developer?
That's the title of the trilogy. It's the Insane, but for some reason they do N.Sane.
No, Insane is the name of...
Dude, it's called Insane Trilogy.
I know! That's what it's called, but there's a reason they spell it like insane.
Oh, well, it's the original developers were Naughty Dog, so I don't think it has anything to do with at least the developer of that sense. I think it's just, we're Crash Bandicoot and we're edgy.
That's not... Is that really it? There's no reason that it's spelled that way?
I'm pretty sure. I don't... I mean, maybe someone knows and they can let us know, but I'm pretty sure it's just like... Oh, that... Maybe what's the big boss in the game? Maybe it has something to do with that?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm trying to think who the... Because the enemy I know is like... Let's see, who's Crash Bandicoot enemy? Dr. Neo Cortex. See, but like,
maybe
I don't know.
It's...
I'm looking at... maybe there's just a lot of... Because like, Dr. Neo Cortex, Dr. Nitrous Brio, Dr. N. Jin... so maybe it's just like...
There it is.
But then there's another guy, N. Trance.
Yeah.
So I think it's... Maybe
Insane.
it's just a dumb... convention that they started with and continue to roll with.
Figured it out, Case.
We broke it down here on the news block for you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, continuing on with our news sales, why don't you you take this next little bit?
Okay. Yeah, Hollow Knight. I've heard so much about Hollow Knight, and it sounds awesome. And Reggie said that it is doing exceptionally well on Switch. How well? 250,000 copies in the first 2 weeks. Well, that's a lot.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Life changing.
Well, yeah, I wonder. I don't know how it sold overall, but like obviously I know it was very popular and people were all about this.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm curious to see. But that's ridiculous. 250,000 on the Switch alone. So then you got to figure. I don't know. They got to be real happy. But from what I hear, this game's incredible. I've heard...
Switch exclusive sequel announced.
Yeah, could you imagine? But remember...
Filled Night.
Remember how many people mentioned that they wanted Hollow Knight to come to the Switch?
Yeah.
When we were talking about... And we were like, oh, wow, really? Okay, like didn't realize it was so popular. But,
right.
But yeah, Team Cherry must be very happy with their sales on Switch so far.
Put the cherry on top.
Yes, sir. Nothing wrong with that. Cherry on top.
Boom. Okay, well, more importantly, a new Mario Odyssey outfit was added for post-gameplay.
Ooh.
Rango hat and the Rango suit, which is one of the brutals. I was wondering what the Rango... I was like, Rango? Like the movie?
Yeah. Rango!
I was like, what the heck? What kind of a weird... like licensing partnership is this?
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what the heck's a Rango? And then when I looked at it, I realized like, oh, it's like the hat has like the droopy ears and like and I was like, okay, they're going for one of the brutals. But yeah, I mean that's cool. They said you have to beat the game and then you can go to the shops and be able to purchase it. So it doesn't seem like there's no quests or objective really aside from completing the game to unlock the ability to purchase this. Looks pretty cool. I guess it's a nice thing if you're still playing, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be necessarily something that like it's going to make me want to jump back into play, you know, but a cool feature if you're still playing it.
Yeah, totally.
Now, next up here, we have our coming to Switch block. Because I realize this is just a bunch. Yeah. Well, some of it is. All right, so to kick us off here, Square Enix is working on a new action RPG for the Switch and the PS4. So that should be interesting. I wonder, they didn't say really much aside from just that. So I don't know if it is maybe an action RPG in a series we already know about, you know? Could it be like a spin-off of a Final Fantasy or something? Or maybe it's just they've been doing, obviously, Octopath and like the... What was that? I Am Setsuna. They've been doing other RPGs and stuff, so I wonder... Sphere. Yeah, like I wonder if maybe it'll be more akin to those. But exciting news nevertheless.
Sure.
Now, this is where the question mark comes in. Bethesda on Switch, they said, will certainly be doing more things there. So again, not really much news, but...
Well, that's good. I mean...
But yeah, I mean, more Bethesda will make people happy, obviously. They've got a pretty nice catalog of franchises to pick from. And I know there's been some rumors about one of the Fallouts, whether it be 4 or maybe a 3 or New Vegas. I think that would be a big hit. Or, hey, who knows, maybe, we're going to bring something brand new to the Switch. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Now, this next
bit...
The one
I'm most excited for is this next one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to let you talk about this because I know it's right up your wheelhouse.
Right up my Jimmy hole.
Boo! That's how you get explicit on the podcast reading, you sicko.
That's not what that means. You're a pervert.
You're the one who sounded like a pervert.
No, you're the no, you're the one.
You're
that came
talking
up with
about
this Jimmy
sticking
hole
things
business.
in Jimmy holes, and I don't even know
I never
anymore.
said sticking things.
My ears are bleeding. I need a nap.
No, this next game coming physically, which is why, because these games are already out. The Namco Museum Arcade Pack. It's not packed, right? Like you wrote. It's not like some sort of agreement that they had, right?
Yeah, we've made a blood pact. Together we will release on one cartridge.
Yeah, it's like the Namco. I don't know, what's the? Oh, what's the other? Not Xevious. What's the other game? Gradius.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's like shaking hands with Pac-Man.
Yeah, good deal.
Anyway, yeah. So that's Namco Museum and Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 coming to the Switch via physical release and probably on the shop. Maybe not. Maybe not in the eShop. But
yeah, I don't know if they're gonna sell
2 games.
They might sell it as like a pack. A pact.
Yeah, I don't know. Two games that I didn't pick up that I wanted to get for this remember when Namco Museum came out? I thought it was totally gonna be physical, but then it wasn't because they had the box art and stuff. So I was like, I thought this was physical, and then it wasn't. And I was like, well,
it was one of those. I wanted it, but I was like, I should wait. And yeah. I ended up caving, and I got Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, so I won't be getting this collection. But I'm excited for you to try out Pac-Man Championship Edition because you've never played that, right?
Right. No, and I almost picked it up on that sale. They had it half off. And I was like, okay, I'll be getting it, but I didn't. I just forgot about it. But now I'm getting it, baby. Woo-wee. Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. And you know what else? Nothing's wrong with an update to a good game.
Oh, yeah. Now, we sort of knew updates would be coming to Aces, and we sort of got some teasers, I guess, at which characters are going to be coming. Koopa Troopa, Diddy Kong, Blooper, and Berta will be coming, but they'll be coming this fall via the online tournaments. And if you have the game, you've seen those sort of blanked out spots that are like, unlock this by participating in our July tournament and our August and September. So it seems like by joining the tournament, you'll be able to get some new characters, which is always exciting.
If they're timed exclusive, if you don't join the tournament, and you'll never get them ever.
I'm thinking then maybe you'd have to buy them in like a...
no way. No way.
That, or maybe it's if you
what would you buy them for? Unless they come with like a story mission or something.
DLC, I don't know. People want to play with different characters.
who would pay to play as? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm sure if
You're
it was $5 for those characters, I'm sure I'd probably buy it if I was still playing the game at that point. But I'm thinking maybe it'll be like if you join those tournaments, you get to use them, and then if you don't join them, they all come out in the fall, which could be October or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, no, always good stuff. And I figured our last little bit of news here could be a little interesting to talk about for a second,
this is
too.
Cool.
Nintendo is talked about the docked versus undocked playtime for the Switch, and they said, quote unquote, it's about even. So that sort of made me wonder, what would you say your percentage is?
I'd say the same. I mean, honestly, nowadays, like, because I've been working at work on my breaks now, so I don't play Switch too much at work. So nowadays, I kind of play mostly on the TV, but like ever since it came out, it's totally been like half and half.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd say maybe 75-25 docked, undocked.
Mostly docked?
Yeah, because for me, when I'm at home, like, so my setup is, like, my computer is in my living room, which is by my TV, which is where the Switch is. So it's like, if I'm in here, I'm usually playing it on, just in the docked. But I do play a fair share of, portable. And of course, like, when Octopath comes out, like, and that's a super long game, and I did it with Xenoblade 2, like, all of a sudden I'll be like, all right, I'm going to play more handheld now because I have a game that sort of warrants it.
Absolutely.
With Wolfenstein, I'm more like, well, you know what, that's a big sort of cinematic game. Like, I want to sort of be playing, sitting down, watching on the TV, light sort of dark, where, for instance, I guess I am reviewing, maybe I won't say that. I am reviewing a game where it is definitely more like, oh, this is nicer in handheld, you know what I mean? Or maybe not nicer, but it works really well in handheld too. Sure. And that's a game I'll talk about next week. But yeah, no, I just, the option is just nice to always have,
Which it's like the concept is completely proven, right?
Yeah, it really is, and it's crazy to think, like, when we saw it, we're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Like, we know it's going to be awesome, but like, will it catch on with everyone? Like, to me, that was the big question. And man, I'm sure glad it's gone the way it's gone.
Right. We were living in the Wii U days.
You mean the days when I had time to play video games? Now it's like, oh.
Yep. Now there's no time. But we make time, and we talk about them on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I think we're done with the news.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, I hear Mick knocking on the door. He's ready to come into the studio, and that's your cue to leave, Casey.
Yeah. Do you hear that knocking? It's me at work.
Yeah, of course. You got to go to work always whenever we record.
Well, you know what it is?
An interview.
Perry sets up these interviews. He's like, when's Casey working? I don't want him on this interview.
No. I go, when is he not working? Hey, Casey, can you do this? Yeah.
Hey, well, in all fairness.
Oh, no.
In all fairness, you asked me when I was at the wedding, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I should be able to, and then I had to go into work. So it's not like I went to the beach and blew you off.
I know.
Although,
I know.
Yeah, don't worry. You don't have to worry about me blowing you off to the beach, though.
I got the new and improved version of Casey, known as Alex Kalafi, to join me. Just kidding, Case.
That
well,
bum.
I'm not, but I mean, don't feel bad. Yeah, so why don't we take a little break, and then we're come back and talk about Miles and Kilo. It'll be a lot of fun, so stay tuned for that, and then stick around for the end for the proper outro from Casey.
When I magically come back from work.
Yes. Welcome to a special interview with developer 4 Horses. They have developed a couple of games on the Switch, Kid Trip and Miles, and here's the thing, is it Kilo or Kylo?
It is Kilo.
It is Kilo. It's spelled Kilo.
It is, yeah.
Right. So, but it's like you never know. I mean, Kylo sounds like a cute dog name, too. So,
That's
you never
true.
know. Yeah. And I'm Perry Burkham. I'm joined with fellow NWR staffer Alex Kulafi.
Hi, I'm here.
He's here. And yes, and we're joined with the Soul 4 Horses developer Mick Waites.
Hi there.
How's it going?
It's going really well. It's a lovely sunny Saturday afternoon here in the UK, and everything's good.
Yes, it's a beautiful. We've had a long 2 weeks full of like rain all day, storms, thunder. I've never had that, experienced it before here in the middle of the United States. But today is really nice and sunny, so it's nice. It's uplifting, just for this interview, just to make us feel.
It's good that we could arrange that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna talk. So Miles and Kilo is coming out in a couple days, right? From this recording?
On Thursday the 5th, it will be available to play. It's currently available to pre-purchase on the Switch eShop. Yeah. Yeah.
You sent me and Casey a couple codes, and I've played the whole thing. 100% the whole thing. It is a fabulous game that I have been really enjoying. I actually, Casey, so let's talk about the whole thing. Let's start from the beginning. So Kid Trip was a game that came out on the 3DS, so just as for Nintendo gamers, last year, right?
Yes, it was. It was July. It was actually my son's birthday last year, which was a nice timing. And then in November, the end of November on Switch.
It was both of your kids' birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah, and so why don't you talk about Kid Trip?
Okay, so Kid Trip was actually initially created by a young, very talented individual in the US as a mobile game. He'd been inspired very much by Adventure Islands and games of that ilk, and wanted to create a game that fit onto mobile really well. He's a very talented game designer and pixel artist, so he pretty much did all the work himself, bar the music. And that's where Kid Trip came from. It's a infinite runner. So no, it's not an infinite runner. It's an auto runner, but level based. Miles crashes onto a sort of jungly island somewhere and gets chased by the local wildlife and has to escape. That's the simple story behind it, but it's absolutely rock hard. I did my best to make the game even harder on 3DS by adding some pretty tough achievements on there. It's great fun. It's great fun.
Oh, yeah, it is such a cool. I mean, it is kind of like the epitome of retro, of like cool retro vibes. Totally up my alley. I guess it's kind of cool. So if you should tell about if people, because there's a lot of deals going on. If you own the game, and then if you buy the sequel.
Yeah, if you already own Kid Trip. Then if you buy Miles and Kilo before the 12th of July, you'll get 50% off the price of Miles and Kilo. If you don't already own Kid Trip and buy Miles and Kilo outright at full price, you actually get Kid Trip free, 100% discount on the eShop, which we think is a pretty sweet deal. Both deals equate to about the same amount of money. But we wanted to do the deal for new players to give them the old game and sort of let them experience that, but we didn't want the existing customers to miss out. We didn't want them to feel cheated that they'd paid and then didn't get anything back for that. So hence why we created the two deals that are mildly confusing, difficult to explain to people, but there they are.
I think that the thing is if you've invested, you'll get something. You'll get a reward, and no matter what you do. So wonderful, and it even worked with the download code that you sent.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's a nice bonus, because anyone who was keen to review Miles and Kilo and hadn't reviewed Kid Trip got both. So yeah, it's quite nice.
I know that you had a hand in bringing. I mean, you were the major hand in bringing the game to Nintendo platforms, the first game. But on the second game, did you assist with any of the actual development of it, or did you just work on the port?
No, I can't remember exactly when Mike released Miles and Kilo, I think it was about the same time I was still. Yeah, he was still working on it when I was working on Kid Trip. So
Yeah, so why don't you tell everyone about how you came into Kid Trip? I mean, you were saying that you're the one that brought it to the 3DS, correct?
yeah, absolutely. What had happened was, I mean, way back near 10 years ago now, I was working in the video games industry, but not as a software developer, not as a programmer, even though that was my hobby. And I was looking to move into a development role, but I'd always put off learning the C programming language, and I thought I might as well get stuck in, get it learned, and what better way than to create a game. So I created a game called Digger Dan. It wasn't originally called Digger Dan, it was actually a remake of a game I used to play as a kid, but we sort of got the idea of swapping the graphics out, adding some different mechanics in, creating our own levels, and actually getting it out there as a game. So I had to partner up with a publisher for that, because obviously I didn't have any relationship with Nintendo myself particularly. Mm-hmm. So we got that out on DSiWare, which was great. I then ended up working for this publisher developer, developing their in-house games, and one of the things I did for them was port their internal engine to work with 3DS, which was the new hardware at the time. So while I had my hands on some 3DS kit, I decided to make myself a 3DS version of Digger Dan, because I just wanted to play with the parallax 3D effect, the stereoscopic 3D.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, the publisher wasn't making that much money off the 3DS games that they were making in-house with their own engine, so they weren't particularly keen to put another version of Digger Dan out there. So after I left, I basically asked their permission if I could essentially have the rights for it back and publish it on my own, because they'd helped develop some of the levels and provided the audio for it. So yeah, we came to an arrangement. They basically gave me their 3DS dev kit as well, which they weren't using anymore, which was nice. And I set up 4 Horses for the sole purpose of publishing Digger Dan, which got renamed as Digger Dan DX. That was published in about May, I think it was, 2016. And some weird coincidences happened. I applied for a different job outside the games industry, and part of the interview process had to do a little bit of a presentation about a project I'd worked on that I was quite passionate about. And I thought, well, what better than your own game? So I was particularly nervous. I don't enjoy that sort of thing, doing presentations in front of people. And so I opened with the line, so I'm going to be talking to you about this game that I made called Digger Dan. And one of the guys goes, oh, I bought that. That just totally threw me off my stride and sort of caught me off guard. It was the first time I've actually encountered a person in the wild who's bought my game, rather than someone who knew me and bought it because they knew me. So yeah, that was a bit weird, but I got the job against all odds. And then later on, I was just having a conversation with the same guy, and he was saying, we were just talking about mobile game design, and he said there's this mobile game he particularly likes, Kid Trip. And I said, I was actually talking to the developer about that about 4 years ago, offering him a chance to move it over to 3DS, because I knew him through some online Nintendo forums. I'd seen his pixel art, and I'd been clearly he's a very talented guy, and his pixel art was fantastic. So I was looking at what he was doing, and I was interested in it. And I said to him, that'd look really nice on 3DS. Would you be interested? And he told me that he actually had another developer on the hook for doing that conversion for him, and I moved on and forgot about it. So when this new colleague reminded me of the game, I tracked him down again and said, whatever happened to that 3DS version? And what happened to that 3DS version was I made it for him in about 2 months from that conversation, which was really good.
That's awesome.
The conversion process was very much bit by bit. I got the original source code from him, which was in the wrong programming language for 3DS, and I just rewrote it from the ground up, line by line. But being very, very careful to preserve the mechanics precisely, because I'm not one for liking to not do 100% perfect conversions.
You're good.
How big is your team? Because I know that so you came on as a publisher, kind of, for the Nintendo versions, and it sounds like this guy,
Mike,
not Mick, but Mike is a bit of a one-man army himself. How many people were working on these games? Is it just you two plus like a little bit of PR support, or was it or is there a bigger team?
It was just me. I mean, Mike obviously helped me a bit on the conversion. He'd let me know. He'd answer questions about the code if ever I saw something in it that I thought wasn't right. I didn't really understand what he was doing. He'd help out there. But it was entirely me for the 3DS version, and we have no publisher marketing. In fact, I almost have no office. I'm sat currently in my Four Horses office, which is about a 6-foot square section of one of the rooms in my house. So yeah, it's just me. When it came to Miles and Kilo, the game was already written in a different engine. That's written to work in Monogame, which fortunately is available on Switch. So Mike actually handled most of the getting that up and running because he was already familiar with the engine, and then I sort of stepped in and did some of the hardware specific things like dealing with the controllers, the HD rumble and things like that. Save game.
Which is really cool, by the way. The HD rumble is awesome. Like I kind of forgot about it. People haven't been doing that a lot until I picked up Miles and Kilo. So I just that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, HD rumble and video capture, they're two things that I absolutely wanted in. In fact, I would have wanted video capturing Kid Trip originally if I'd have known it existed, but I think Nintendo had actually approved the game for publish after I'd sent them a build about 3 days before they then said, oh, and by the way, we've just added video capture to the Switch.
Oh,
it's
really?
like, damn it. It's perfect for that. The level you can sort of blast through the levels in about 30 seconds. So that's it's absolutely perfect for video capture.
Yeah.
But we put a patch out and it's now supported, so
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, man, you're very prolific with your Kid Trip and your Miles game developments. That's good.
Yeah, but what's the port process like comparing the two platforms? Like, is it easier to port to Switch or 3DS? It sounds like the 3DS port of Kid Trip only took a couple months, right?
Yeah, I was working off the back of code that I already have, my in-house engine, if you want to call it that. I mean, basically it draws sprites, it plays sound effects, and it reads your controller and does save games. That's about it. But for those sorts of games, that's all you need. Yep. So I was working off the back of that to a degree, and I think I got the intro running in about a week, and the whole game playable start to finish in a month. So that wasn't too bad. The process for getting it onto Switch, then I actually blogged it on my website just for fun, because there were a lot of anecdotal stories going around about, oh, we've got this up and running in a week on Switch. It's really easy to develop on Switch. So I booked a week off my day job. I've got a day job as well, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Four Horses is not a full-time venture for me. So I booked a week off from my day job and set myself a challenge of getting it up and running in a week. That challenge was hampered by two things. First of all, I didn't have the Switch hardware yet. It actually arrived on the Tuesday when I started the process on the Monday. And I also got Crash Bandicoot at the same time, which was a huge mistake because I'm weak. But yeah, I always say we when I talk about the company. I got it up and running in a week on Switch, fully working. But then I can't remember why it took so long to get it published. I think I got distracted and worked on another game. I was asked by a Japanese publisher if I could port a Unity game for them, having done no Unity work at all before, and I stupidly said yes. But
are you doing that now? Are you in Unity?
It's not something I'll rush back to. It's not for me generally. I got a lot of problems with it. The game I ported, it's called Star Ghost. It was originally on mobile, I believe, and the Wii U. And one of the problems I encountered is that the version of Unity that you use for Wii U is different to the version of Unity that you use for Switch, and the upgrade process for importing the project just broke so much of it. And then bugs were fixed in the Switch version and a new revision came out and it just re-broke all the same things again. So that put me off it massively.
Sure.
But I've got my own in-house engine. If I need to do anything sprite-based, I'm fine. And I'd like to add some sort of rudimentary 3D support to it at some point, but we'll just see where the future takes me, depending on what future games we work on.
Yeah. I guess you didn't develop the original games. I mean, you know, like these are you took them and then developed them for the Switch. But I was gonna say, like, growing up, like, what games, like, did you grow up playing?
I grew up playing all of them. I'm approaching my 50s. Just a couple of years away from my 50s now. So I sort of grew up in the golden age. I remember as a kid, sort of around maybe 8, 9, 10, seeing the earliest arcade machines in various establishments that we'd visit. So the original black and white Space Invaders, Pong, moving on to Donkey Kong and Defender. All that sort of thing are my favourites, really. But particular favourite, Robotron 2084, I really like. So I would quite like the idea of doing a twin-stick shooter at some point, but they seem to be getting done to death again. That seems to be the case every time I get an idea in my head for a game that I could work on next that we've not seen in a while. Suddenly the market's flooded with them. I think someone somewhere is reading my thoughts. But yeah. So I've grown up across all the generations. In the UK, I don't remember the NES being particularly big. I never knew anyone who had one until long after the Super NES had been and gone. So the Super NES and the Mega Drive were sort of the first, or Genesis as it's known in the States, were the first sort of consoles that I really got into. And I think I've owned every Nintendo console since then. I think I've owned most consoles.
Do you have the Virtual Boy?
No, that one never made it to these shores. Now, I sort of feel like I should possibly try and get my hands on one now as a collector's item sort of thing. But
at least one.
I've got a house.
Have two.
Well, you could send me one.
Okay.
I have a house far too full of stuff already. I now have 2 Xbox Ones from having none whatsoever about a week ago. PS4 Pro. But it's nice. Microsoft just sent me the Xboxes. I'm not quite sure why they sent me 2. There's just me.
Well, one of them's for practice, and one of them's for non-practice.
The slim model they sent me does seem to be set in retail mode, so I think that's going to keep my telly warm.
So, I mean, speaking of other systems, I mean, have you developed for any other than Nintendo? Like,
previously I have in my professional, Four Horses is my professional career now, I guess. When I've worked for other people, yes, I've worked on PS3 a little bit, sort of. We worked with it because I worked at a company converting Little Big Planet from PS3 to Vita, and also from PSP to the Sony Xperia Play. I don't think that one ever got released.
that's amazing.
And I think, but I've not. I've done development on those systems. I've not done development on any other systems yet, but I'm ready to go on Vita and PS4 and Xbox and Windows. We're going to be bringing Kid Trip across those systems next.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, see how it goes. Dip our toes. I mean, Vita's a bit of an experiment, really. As long as it makes as much money back as it cost me for the hardware, I won't be too worried. If it suddenly proves to be a goldmine, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, actually, that sort of transitions to one of the other things I was curious about, because a lot of developers, since the Switch came out, reported the Switch being, like, I don't want to say a gold mine, but at least, in a lot of cases, the most successful platform for some of their indie games. Have you seen similar success, or do you think the market's starting to fill up, that's not exactly as much of a reality anymore?
I think the market's starting to fill up. I think I got onto the platform late in November. I think if I hadn't have done the Star Ghost game, if we'd have got it out a bit sooner, that might have been better for us. It's certainly not done as badly. The Switch version is about to catch up with total sales of Digger Dan on 3DS, and Digger Dan's been out on 3DS 2 years now. So it's certainly not bad. I'm not complaining, but I would have liked to have retired by now. I'm old. The 3DS has massively dropped off, though. Kid Trip on 3DS has sold about a third as Digger Dan did in the same amount of time, which is a shame, because I really like the 3DS version. It fits perfectly on that screen, and the stereoscopic 3D is really nice. But then again, it looks gorgeous on the Switch screen as well, so people should just buy both.
I mean, you just like open up Kid Trip on like just the home menu, and like the colors, like the gold, and like just the colors of these games are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it just, you're right, the pixel art. I mean, because you were drawn to it from the beginning because of the pixel art.
Oh yeah,
from the
100%.
artist, correct?
100%.
And so I totally get that, and it's like it's a shame that Casey couldn't be here because he's the one that reviewed Kid Trip for Nintendo World Report, and I mean he absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Just the only complaint being that there wasn't more of it, which to
Yeah.
me that's a good thing. But I like feeling like I want more, and that is my own. I want more, Mick. I want more. Make more.
I shall try. If I could
Yeah.
do this full time, I'd be able to make more.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what you're saying is if everyone buys the games, then you'll make more.
That's 100% what I'm saying.
Oh,
100%.
Oh, yeah. And they are just...
and if everyone buys enough of these games to set me up for life, I'll make all my future games free.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So just before we go, I guess I just want to totally pitch the game to everyone. The first game is totally like you said, it's kind of an auto runner. I don't know if
Yes.
and then, but it's not endless. It's like like Super Mario Run, I guess, if people, it's kind of like that. And then the second game though is it almost plays like an auto runner, but you have full control over Miles.
Yeah, the ethos behind this one was Mike clearly was targeting more than just mobile when he made that, but he wanted to work on mobile as well. So he was originally looking at having multiple different playable characters in it, all with different abilities. That way he could keep it 2 buttons, 1 jump, 1 ability. But then he worked out that he could just use context sensitivity, so depending on where the character is in the scene, the same action button will do different things, whether it's throw a fruit, slide under a gap, smash a wall. But he particularly wanted to keep one of the secondary characters he created, which was Kilo. But his design focus was to make a game that you could speed run, but you didn't have to run. So you're encouraged to run by given the rankings at the end, which you're going to have to beat the target time to get an S rank. But you can stop, you can take your time, you can go back, you can sort of plan things out. So it does play very differently to Kid Trip in that respect. But once you're comfortable with the game, once you think you know your way through the levels, you can actually turn on auto run in the settings and just go for speed runs. There's a time attack mode. There's a time attack mode sort of designed entirely around that. You just get one shot at each level. You can't go back on the level map, and it's get through from start to finish as fast as you can.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, and the nice thing to me is like the goals of each level. Like you have like the A, B, C, S rank.
Yes.
The S rank is like obtainable like while playing, which I really appreciate because it's very satisfying getting the S rank. But usually like in games, it's just like like when you're playing, it's like there's no way I'm ever gonna do that.
Yeah.
And kind of like you have this like empty feeling, like I'm just an awful gamer. I can't do anything. But with Miles and Kilo, I felt great, and I had fun S ranking everything. Which is awesome.
We wanted that to be the case, or Mike wanted that to be the case. The additional challenges are there in doing the time attack mode, and then in the achievements, because there's some fairly tough achievements in there. There's complete time attack with like no more than 10 deaths, and there's one of the levels with a surfboard. You complete that without using the surfboard. That's really hard, really hard.
Well, what you said? Did you say contextual? What was that?
Context sensitive action.
Context sensitive. Yeah, that is. I can't believe how simple the game plays, but it feels so good when you are, like you said, well, and you said there are multiple characters in the. I mean, like you do play. I mean, there are 2 completely different styles. There's playing with Miles, and there's playing with Kilo. And Kilo plays completely different and can like zero in on enemies and jump, and just plays way differently with that, and he actually does play it auto.
He does, yeah. Once he gets going, he doesn't stop,
which is great. And but yeah, like you said, like the feeling of like hitting when you burst through a wall, or when you're going underneath rolling underneath something. It never does what you. It never tricks you, and you never do what you aren't trying to do. With that, so it's very impressive. It's just smooth. The games are just so amazingly smooth, and I loved Kid Trip, and I really didn't know. I saw like, okay, this next game, the sequel, looks like a lot more like Adventure Island, like very, very, very similar to Adventure Island, which is awesome. But I didn't know exactly what to expect, and it's like, oh my goodness, like this is like elevated, like all of the types of, the art and the music and the gameplay, everything is like just lifted up another level. And I just think it's so much more fun, and I mean that as a compliment, because the first game is so much fun. But it's even better. I absolutely was completely hooked on it. And like you said, and it's just obtainable to complete, and just lots of fun while you're playing. I know that Alex is a huge fan of like the Runner franchise. I don't know if you are, Mick. If you've played like a Bit Trip Runner.
I haven't. I've got to say, I'm finding these days I've just got so little time to play games.
Oh yeah.
It's really frustrating because I used to do nothing but play games, but I've got a 12-year-old son now and 2 jobs technically. It's just so hard.
Oh no, I don't blame you. I didn't think you play any games anymore. So.
Oh no, I do.
If you're porting games. What games do you play?
Well, I got hooked into Elite Dangerous for a while, to the point of buying an Oculus Rift, which, I mean, that sucked so much of my time up. But recently, I've just managed to get around to getting Golf Story. We've just got Overcooked on Switch, which is great fun. Very stressful.
Awesome.
And earlier in the year, again, I think Miles and Kilo was delayed slightly due to me getting Celeste, which is game of the year for me. Absolutely love that.
Yeah,
I've heard that from some other people too. My last question for you is, I know you're working a lot on ports, but I also know that you've made your own games before. Are you currently developing anything new? Are you thinking about moving towards your next original game? Like, where's your headspace on that?
We're developing ideas at the minute.
Okay.
I'm going to be working on the other platform stuff, which hopefully will get Kid Trip sorted out fairly quickly once I get started. Miles and Kilo, not so sure. It depends if we publish on Vita and how capable Vita is of running Mono game, because I've heard that it can be a bit sluggish. So that might require a conversion to C++, which will be slow. But if we do that, then I'll probably throw out a 3DS version as well, just because it'll be easy. Beyond that, we've talked about what should come next. What we'd quite like to do is maybe a little project that could just get something out, something Mike could start working on now while I'm working on these ports. But in the timeline of the Kid Trip universe, Miles and Kilo is really game 3 or 4. If you've played Kid Trip to the end, something happens in the ending and nothing's explained at the start of Miles and Kilo what sort of happened between the two games. So we'd quite like to insert a game in the middle that's a completely different style, not a runner at all.
Oh, very cool. It's a nice little
awesome.
tease. Yeah.
It will be if we can do it. These games take a while to put together, unfortunately. I think the original Kid Trip probably took Mike about 4 years, and I think Miles and Kilo at least 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I just want to say to everyone, there is literally no reason to not get these games. They're incredibly inexpensive. I think the Kid Trip is $4 if you buy it, and then Miles and Kilo is going to be
It's
$8.
Yeah,
$8.
$7.99.
And you said, those deals.
Digger Dan is $2 on 3DS.
Oh my goodness!
We're going for Power of 2 prices, so our next game is going to be 32 and then 64.
Very good. Yeah. So go out and buy those games right now, so that and this is just a selfish thing for me, so that I can get more of the Kid Trip games in my life, because I'm a gigantic fan. Very, very cool games. And I really want to thank Mick and for the sole. He is the 4 horses.
I am. All
There's
four
Mick,
of them.
Mike, Michael, and Mac.
Mickey.
And Mickey. Yeah, those are the 4 horses. But I really want to thank you for coming on, Mick.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's been good.
Yeah. And I look forward to what else you're going to be pumping out soon. And Alex, thank you, of course, for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And yes, please stay tuned for more interviews. Of course, you can check out our website, NintendoWorldReport.com. Check out our YouTube, NWRTV. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Alrighty, that was a wonderful interview, as I assume it was, as I will listen to it shortly. No, of course, we always love
just
having...
bashing you the whole time.
Yeah. and it's...
No, that was a wonderful interview.
Yeah, we talked about Miles and Kilo for about maybe 10% of the conversation. The rest was just destroying you.
Yep.
And I'm like, it was wonderful.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. Stay tuned for next week. We have on the docket 2 more interviews with some really cool games. One that we've talked about before that came out a little while back, and one that just released. So really looking forward to those.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's always fun to have developers on to talk about their games and sort of get pull the curtain back a little bit to see how these games come to fruition. It's always fascinating because every game's different, and every process and how people work is different.
You're
so it's always interesting to hear that.
You're right. Yeah, like the whole culture, completely dependent on the person and the team. It's just really fun to hear about. So yeah, totally. But yes, again, thank you, Casey, for joining me on this fine summer's evening.
This fine summer's eve.
I got worried because they're doing some fireworks next. You might be able to hear them, but
I mean,
they have.
I swear, I thought someone was banging on my window, and there's been fireworks going off for like the last week around here. People are.
Yeah, what is the deal?
You know what it is? I think the fact that 4th of July landed on a Wednesday is that it's like people are like, well, do we celebrate the weekend before or the weekend after?
You're right.
So I'm thinking it's just like a hodgepodge of everyone like, well, I'm taking today to be my day of fireworks.
Yep.
But I mean, to me, the answer is obvious. If you're gonna pick one weekend to celebrate the 4th of July on, it cannot be in June.
No.
Like that. Like to me, like, because last Saturday would have been the 30th. So it's like, all right, I can have people over for the 30th, June 30th for the 4th of July, or I could have people over on July 7th. I'm having people July 7th. I'm calling you a fraud if you had a party on Saturday the 30th for 4th of July.
I think you'd have to go Sunday, July 1st.
Yeah, well, see, but I'm thinking, like, most people are going to want to be partying, hardying, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I guess Sunday would work, but...
But post-holiday events, I don't know. Well, I've done it before. I've done it with Christmas.
I think
it's not that bad.
I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it's
but
sort
people
of like
are done with the fireworks, and, like, you're that jerk on July 7th lighting off fireworks.
Dude, I guarantee you're going to be hearing fireworks all week.
Yeah.
Like, you're absolutely going to be hearing fireworks next weekend. And even if it's just not people, like, just as an excuse, like, it's 4th of July-ish. Let's fire these works off,
That's true. Yeah. You're right.
No, but it's, however, I guess, whatever day. But yeah, I'd expect all week to be firework-filled. Hopefully Eleanor doesn't get too scared.
Oh, no, she doesn't care at all. But, it's Jill. Jill's the one that goes and hides behind the toilet.
Where's Jill? She's under the bed again. See her legs sticking out.
Yes, dude, we cannot forget about the Independents.
Oh, my goodness.
It's so good. Next year, we're going to have the Independents to hand out on Independence Day. It's going to be perfect.
I'll wait for it. We're going to, like you said, set your alarm for the beginning of June so you have some time to prep
it's happening. Yes, I will. It is happening. It's going to be perfect. Maybe team up with Nindy Spotlight for an Independence.
The old Nindy Spotlight.
And on that note, there you go. That sounds like we should end this podcast.
I was gonna say, what word is he looking for here?
Note. I was looking for note. I was
Yes.
just thinking about Jimmy Holes.
But yes, everyone, I hope you all had a great 4th of July. And if you're celebrating this weekend, don't blow those fingers off, because you need those to play them Vigi games. Alrighty.
All right.
On that note, we'll see you next week.
Be thankful for independence.
Poodles.
I was at, hold on, real quick. I was at the bank this morning, and this woman, this like probably 70-year-old woman,
It's a whole
came
bag
to
of
the teller
bones.
next to me, and the guy's like, the teller's like, so you have any 4th of July plans? And she's like, no. He's like, no, you're not gonna go see any fireworks? And she's like, I'm against fireworks.
Oh no.
She's like, I had a traumatic incident when I was 17 that I almost went blind or something like that. I was just like looking at her like, "Eee."
Yeah. Humana. I better get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, but that was like 60 years ago, ma'am. I think that the fireworks technology has advanced.
It has, but you know what? It's like, I totally get not wanting to mess with those things, man.
Dude,
It could be the greatest.
Oh yeah,
greatest firework ever, and it just bad luck, and all of a sudden it blows up in
Dude.
your fingers.
dude, listen to this. My cousin, like probably 8-9 years ago, they had this thing that they did with the neighborhood kids. They would always get together and light up fireworks, right? But they would always empty the gunpowder out of them and then put them into one pile and then light it, Have you ever done that before? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Okay, well, you can do that. You can light it and it'll light up and flare. Well, they did it to an insane amount, like an absolute insane. Like they put tons and tons, and they somehow made a bomb.
Oh my goodness.
These kids. I mean, they were like teenagers. I mean, they're not like super little kids or anything, but
They're
they
not
lit it.
stupid little kids. They're just stupid
Dude.
little teenagers.
Dude. Well, I just mean they're not like 6.
No, I know, yeah.
Like 15 or long. But they made this bomb. They lit it off. And, they weren't trying to make a bomb. They were just trying to make the biggest, firework explosion, which is a bomb. And anyway, they lit it off, and the whole neighborhood's, all of the cars' windows shattered.
Oh my god.
And, yes, and some people's houses' windows shattered.
Do they get in trouble?
Can you believe that? Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, cops called and they all all the kids ran and scattered, and basically my cousin was. It was
Jimmy's fault.
Well, no, he basically got he got the blunt end of it, and he had to pay for it and stuff.
Oh,
but they were all cool. They honestly, the neighbors and everything were actually pretty cool. But isn't that insane,
Dude, that. Whew. That's crazy.
I know.
I know. It's funny. It's funny. I feel like every little kid needs to, at one point or other, gets that, like, I need to play with an explosive or a match, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time, not to drag this on too long, I guess, but I had to have been, like, second grade? What are you in second grade? Like 10? Maybe, no, that's way too old.
Yeah.
Probably, like, I don't know. Anyway, I remember my brothers had matches. My brother and my older neighbor, and we played like a little thing of golf for it, and we won. And I was like, oh, I got matches. This is crazy. And then I went and I took a shower, and I was like, oh, no, I forgot the matches in my pocket. So, like, instead of just, like, to show you how young I was like, instead of just going and getting my pants that I just took off before the shower, you know, I was like, Mom, where are my pants? She's like, probably where you put them in the hamper. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And then she was like, why do you need your pants? And I was like, nothing, you know, like, dumb little kid, you know. I was like, don't worry about it, you know. And then she found me, and
Don't worry about it.
I got grounded.
Well, good. You're
I think
hiding
for 2
matches
days,
from
yeah.
her.
You dumb little idiot, Casey.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, I feel like this show has been bookcased by ramblings. We started out rambling. We're rambling men.
Maybe I'll just put that in the stinger.
The Ramblers?
Yep.
Yep, I like it.
The Ramblin'.
The old rambling men.
With Casey Gibson.
You're nothing but a little boy guy.